Fellas, I was getting so many requests to do the video on the remaining 1.12 worksheets. So here you go. B, C, and D. I'll try to put in all of these within a week or probably 2 weeks max. If you need to download this, yeah, there's a link in the description. And if you need private tutoring, feel free to reach out. Right, let K be a function that is a transformation of the function h such that this is the transformation that is going on. So determine what kind of transformations are involved in H so that it will give us K. Okay, so we know that this guy, anything that is multiplied by X, right? Just be careful here. The horizontal dilations work in a counterintuitive sense. So you might think that this is a stretch horizontally by a factor of 3, but no, it is actually a shrink. So the first thing that is happening over here is shrink horizontally by a factor of not 3, obviously 1 over 3 because that's a shrink. And second is the vertical dilations just work the way we think. So stretch vertically by a factor of 2 over here. That's the answer. Okay, likewise, we have to write the transformations on G that will result in the function f. So I think I have been giving this tip in all my videos that always do the vertical translations at the end. It's really safe and in some questions, even if you do it first, it may not mess up. But if you want to be safe, always just do it at the end. So I'm going to say that g of x minus 2, again, counterintuitive, it's just going right by 2 units. That's pretty straightforward here. And then the second one is it's going vertically up by 4 units. That's the other transformation that I have. Okay, the next is again in M, I have to do that. So I think I'm gonna dilate this horizontally. Obviously, that's 1 over 2. So again, counterintuitive. So I'm gonna say that it's a stretch. It's a stretch horizontally, and the factor is of course 2 because stretch means the factor has to be greater than 1. Then this negative is going to flip about the x-axis, right? So it is a flip or reflection. You can also say reflection about the x-axis. And the third thing is, of course, the last vertical translation. So it is going vertically down by 3 units. That's how the last transformation works. Okay. Although these two were interchangeable in this question, right? Even if you interchange these two, the first and second, nothing is going to change. It will still have the same function. Okay, what about this one? I think that's pretty straightforward, right? If we multiply x with minus x, that's a reflection about the y-axis. So I'm going to say that first we are doing a reflection about the y-axis, and then we are going vertically up by 1 unit. So it's vertical up by 1 unit. Okay. Okay, this one is a little different. They are saying that if h is constructed by applying 3 transformations to the graph of f in this order. First, we have a horizontal dilation by half, then vertical dilation by 5, and vertical translation by -7. And if the resulting function looks like this, then what are the values of a, b, and c? Okay, let's do it one by one. Horizontal dilation by a factor of 1 over 2 means that's a horizontal shrink. And horizontal shrink would mean that the function f became, fx became f of 2x, right? Because again, that's counterintuitive. That's a horizontal shrink. Vertical dilation by a factor of 5 just means that you multiply 5 right on the outside. And vertical translation going down by 7 just means that you do -7. They need what is the value of a, b, and c. So we can see that a is 5, b is 2, and c is -7. So that's how it works over here. Okay, pretty much a similar question over here. So it's a horizontal dilation by a factor of 3. Once again, that's counterintuitive. The original function is m. So factor of 3 would mean that it's a stretch. So I'm going to do 1 over 3x. Then this is a vertical dilation by a factor of 4. So there's a 1 over 4 sitting on the outside, and vertical translation up by 8 units, which would mean that it's going 8 units up. So plus 8. So obviously the value of A is 1 over 4, B is 1 over 3, and C is 8. These are the answers. Okay, the last one is the parent function is G over here. Okay, we are starting with a vertical dilation this time. So I'm going to do this. Then we are doing a reflection about the x-axis. So x-axis reflection would mean that there will be a negative sign multiplied to this entire thing. And then horizontal translation by 4. So horizontal translation by 4 would mean that since nothing is given as right or left, but since it is positive 4, it means it is to the right. So if we want to go right, then I will do counterintuitive, replace x by x minus 4. So the value of A is -2. The value of C will be -4, right? Okay, that's how it's going to work. Okay, all right, we are given a function and we have to graph or find how will this transform function look like, and there are 4 options. Okay, the strategy, guys, over here is honestly just take any, I mean, obviously you can eyeball the options as well, because I know that I'm looking for a graph that goes right and up, right by 1 and up by 2. So if you can eyeball in that fashion, well and good. If you want to be more precise about, more confident about your answers, then consider any point. Let's say this is the point, so -4 comma 1, and translate this point based on these transformations, right? So what is the meaning of f of x minus 1? It is going right by 1 unit. So right by 1 units would mean that -4 will become -3. And what is the meaning of plus 2? Plus 2 would mean that the y coordinate will become 2 more, so it will become 3. Now let's see -3 comma 3 is in which option. So I do see -3 comma 3 here. There is no -3 3 over here. There is a -3 3 over here, and there is no -3 3 over here. Now is it A and C? Obviously it's C, because I just took a corner point, the most left point. So how can that most left point become an in-between point of the graph? That's not possible. It should be, again, a most left point on the curve, which makes sense to mark option C. All right, I hope these explanations are making sense. If you feel like you need some extra help, feel free to reach out for tutoring. Okay, likewise over here, I am looking for negative of f of x plus 2. So I'm looking for 2 units on the left and then reflection about the x-axis. All right. Don't you think, guys, in this question, we can rule out C and D? Because these two people from no angle, they are looking like it has been reflected about the x-axis. Because when you reflect something about the x-axis, it is going to look something like this. So the semicircle should be upside down, and it is only in option A and B, not C and D. So just based on that, I'm going to rule out C and D, and going on the left by 2 units. Now again, my strategy is just to either take a point, or maybe you can think that the entire thing is going left by 2. So if this thing is going left by 2, obviously this -4 should now be at -6, right? So, which makes sense that it should be option A, because it is at -6 right now. But this guy is going exactly in the opposite direction, -2, right? 2 units to the right, which is not correct, because f of x plus 2 means it should be 2 units to the left. So I think this is how our answer should look like. So it should be option A. Okay, again, similar question, guys. We have a function f that is undergoing a horizontal dilation by a factor of 4. So right off the bat, since I know that it is a dilation by a factor of 4, it is a stretch, and a stretch would mean that x should be replaced by x over 4. So I know option A and B are wrong, because these are just something being multiplied to the x. Okay. That is going vertically dilation by a factor of 3. So it means that 3 should be on the outside. And vertical translation down by 7, obviously it should be -7 and not +7. So C makes the best choice over here. Likewise, if you want to be fast here, because these are multiple choice, you can just, eliminate the options without, rather than writing the entire thing. For example, horizontal dilation by 1/3. So again, I know that x should be replaced by 3x. So x/3 and x/3 options are gone. Vertical dilation by 2 means, now just focus on these two options. Vertical dilation by 2 means it's just 2 should be right on the outside. So B is also not correct. And going up by 4 just means that I will add, 4 units to this question. So the answer should be option D. Likewise over here, we are doing a vertical dilation by a factor of 5. Okay, everything has 5 here. Some options have negative, but let's see. Yeah, actually, there should be a negative, because right after that, they are saying there's a reflection about the x-axis, which means that there should be a negative out in the front. So A and D are gone. There should be a -5 sitting over here. And then they are saying that you should go left by 2 because there's a -2, which would mean that I have to replace x by x plus 2, because that's counterintuitive. So answer should be option C over here. Right, guys, I hope these questions, this explanation was helpful for you. If you found it helpful, please like, please subscribe, please share it with your friends so that as many students can be helped. And once again, if you need private tutoring, feel free to reach out. Thank you.